You used me, I sobbed, crying to my mate who just rejected me. Mating with me was your ladder to power, Roderick. Your pack climbed the ranks because of me. Now that you've achieved your ambition, you don't need the ugly girl anymore, is that it? But you were willing to mate with me a year ago.
Welcome to Luna's Romance Stories. Read the entire novel in one go. Message or comment to tell me what kind of story you'd like to read. Subscribe to the channel for daily updates. Luna reminds you, the story begins now.
Oh, spare me. Roderick rolled his eyes. Don't act like you didn't know have left you at some point. Hold on, did you really think I'd have made you the Luna of my pack? I can barely stand sight of you, Lyric. How do you expect me to take you to alpha meetings and present you to others? You're disgusting, but I did not give this scar to myself, I cried bitterly. And you promised you'd take me to the best doctors. You didn't do any of that, Roderick. It'd have helped. What, even your own family doesn't care enough to take you to doctors? Ere do you think I would? Quit dreaming, Lyric, and get out of my pack. Tears blurred my vision. It wasn't the first time I was being called ugly, but it hurt more each time it came from Roderick. I knew Roderick had no love for me when my family paired me with him a year ago. For a year, we lived like strangers despite being mated. I was still a virgin as he could not even bring himself to touch me. It wasn't my fault. I was ugly. I was burnt with a silver base branding iron when I was a kid, leaving a huge scar by the side of my face. I still didn't know who was responsible for it, but I've had to grow up with this sting of rejection. Even my own family hated me and were embarrassed by my appearance. But I thought Roderick would be different. I thought he'd love me, apparently. In a world where ranks mattered the most to pack leaders, deceit was bound to happen. I glared at him. I'd truly loved this man and wished he'd love me back, but now I wish he'd suffer for what he did to me. You are a monster, I gritted the words, and I hope you pay for this someday. He threw back his head and laughed. A hollow sound. Cursed Lyric. How exactly is that going to happen? I am currently the third most powerful alpha now. My pack is up the ranks while Amelie is beneath me. There is nothing you can do to me anymore. You have always been and will always be worthless. Listen, I have rejected you already, and you have accepted. Although, there is one final formality left, but as far as I am concerned, you are not longer anything to me. So get your disgusting face out of my pack, this instant before I have the guards throw you out. His glare was icy, and before I could respond, he walked out. After I managed to pull myself together, I left Roderick's pack and decided to head home, to my father's pack. I hadn't been home since I moved into Roderick's pack, and I hoped they'd be willing to take me in. My family had never really liked me. Everything started falling apart after my mother left, abandoning me when I was 4. My father chose a new mate and suddenly didn't have enough time for me. Then, I got my scar and he became even more distant. The guards let me through the gate, but when I rang the bell of the lounge, my stepsister and her mother opened up. To my surprise, they wouldn't let me in. Go back to Roderick and beg him some more. Lyric, there is no room for you here, Nora said, after I explained everything to them, despite my attempt to get them to pity me, letting them understand I had nowhere else to go. They ordered the guards to see me out. They've always taken me to be a disgrace to the family, and were happy where he left for Roderick's pack. Now, they didn't want me back. By evening, I was seated in a bar, my favorite bar, faceless drunk, over healthy mixed portions strong enough to get a wolf drunk. And you didn't have to worry about being recognized and judged as every customer made use of masks. It had been my favorite bar for years. If people had to see my face, they'd think I was getting drunk because I was ugly. You are too ugly. I'd heard those words too many times. I could recite thin my sleep without missing a beat. But above all, it was Roderick's betrayal that cut deep. It was even more painful that I could not do anything for him. His pack was very powerful now, and I was an ugly, rejected girl who didn't even have a family to return to. Nobody could ever want me. What was the point of living? I emptied the last of my drink and was trying to stand when someone spoke from nowhere. A refill for the lady, please. I turned in surprise to find a man taking the seat beside me. The bartender nodded and proceeded to get a refill. I furrowed my brows in surprise as I looked at the newcomer. I couldn't see his face as he was wearing a mask just like me, but something about the way he appeared told me he was sophisticated. His suit was a Mason Faytoil brand, and his watch was an Aristo Tempest watch. An average wolf couldn't afford these things. "You've been coming here to drink alone for some time now," he said, surpassing me his voice. It was soothing and impossible to ignore. I lowered my eyes, feeling a little ashamed. How can he even tell? "I don't know what you are talking about. Your mask." He tipped his chin toward me. "You've never changed it." "Oh, that means you also come here a lot." "I do. It is not quite up to my standard, but it is my favorite place. I like it and I don't get judged by anyone." The barman returned with my drink. I thanked the newcomer before drinking from my glass. "From the look of things, you must be troubled. I am too. So, why don't we make a deal, miss? Have fun for the night and go our separate ways by morning." I looked at him in shock. He was offering a one-night affair. "But you don't even know me," I muttered shyly. "I do not need to. It is simply for fun." There was something about the way he spoke. I could tell he was a man who didn't care about the feelings of others and was only out to get what he wanted. "Although, I must warn you," he asked. "It will be a long night. I have. Emma's finishing on a woman. I never finish. So, like I said, it is simply for the fun of it." Huh. He could not climax during intimacy, but I heard that was the best part of it. How could he enjoy intimacy if he had never finished on a woman before? The thought of it was sad, despite how absurd it sounded. A part of me was tempted. I'd always been curious about intimacy. No one has ever liked me because of my scar, not even my mate, ex-mate. After much conviction from the newcomer, I gave it a thought. "Can we keep our masks on? You'll hate me just like the others, if you see how ugly I am." "Sure," he shrugged. "Your wish is my command, princess." "Princess." My stomach churned. Oh no, he didn't know I looked like a monster. If he knew, he'd whir off like the others. I was tempted to cry. Sometimes, I really did wish I were treated like a princess. We left the bar together, heading to his hotel as he called it. We drove off in his Arcanus GT. It was one of the most expensive cars in the world. Whoever this man was, he was filthy rich. Could he possibly be an alpha? A part of me had been tempted to ask questions, but none of it mattered. We were simply going to make love and never see each other again. It was the best night of my life. He made love to me in the sweetest way. Although it was my first time, I wasn't sure intimacy could be any sweeter. I didn't want us to stop. The stranger had been shocked to know I was a virgin. The entire session. He kept asking if I was fine and needed him to be more gentle. For the first time, someone cared about my feelings. But something unusual happened during the intercourse. Everything had been going so fine until he suddenly jerked while inside me and came with a deep groan. I was shocked, but we were both in the moment and could not ask questions. He got off me almost immediately, sitting on the edge of the bed. "That is strange," he muttered to himself. I was equally confused. I thought he couldn't finish on a woman. He looked at me, and from how long it was, I could tell he was staring at me like I was a puzzle. I was still lying on my back, exhausted. Soon he joined me. Lying beside me, he held his head up with his elbow. "Who are you?" He ran a finger along my jaw. The touch was electric. I swallowed hard. "I am just an ugly girl who has been abandoned by everyone she has ever come across." To my surprise, he took off his mask. My mouth fell open in shock at the face before me. Good moon, if he wasn't the most stunning man I'd ever met. He was too good looking. I could never have someone like him. HT was too good for me. I pulled the duvet further to conceal my body. "You should have told me you were a virgin at the bar," he said. What did it matter? I didn't care about being a virgin anymore. Slowly, his hand reached for my face. Realizing what he had in mind, I gasped and recoiled. "Number," I shook my head, gripping the duvet tight. "Why, you've seen my face." "Still," I shook my head. Our deal still stands. There is nothing to be afraid of. One, he added. You don't understand. You'll hate me if you see my face. The night was going too smoothly. I didn't want anything to ruin it. I am ugly, I mumbled, dipping my head. He seemed surprised. He reached for my face again, and this time, I didn't try to stop him. This was my fate. He pulled off the mask, put a finger under my chin, and tipped my head up to meet his gaze. Tears glistened in my eyes. As I stared into his silver charming eyes, he was staring right at my face, at my scar. He was going to run away now. I shivered and closed my eyes when he ran a finger along the scar. What was he doing? What happened? His tone was soft, his fingers still caressing my face. I met his gaze, and so far, there was no resentment in his eyes. Simone attacked me. I swallowed. I was abducted and blindfolded while they hurt me. I visited a lot of doctors, but none have been able to help. Seconds passed. He didn't take his eyes off me. You are beautiful, he murmured. I frowned. What was he talking about? You really think the scar makes you ugly? I shook my head, pulling my face away from his grasp. I am ugly, every ohm tells me. More to my surprise, he pulled me in beside him, wrapping his arms around my shoulder. Until tonight, I don't think I've ever met a lady as stunning you, princess. My heart quickened as I listened to his heartbeat with my head on his chest. Uncontrollably, a tear escaped my eye. He was lying. He only wanted me to feel better. Do you think we could adjust our deal? I'd love to spend another day with you, he said, shocking me to the core. What? This was not possible. I please. My heart melted instantly. For the first time in my life, I was being begged one to stay, not leave. I buried my face in his chest as I responded. I'd love to. But like everyone else, he lied to me like everyone else. I was deceived. By morning, he was gone. I woke up and couldn't find him in bed. There was no note, no trace that he had even been with me aside from the ache in between my legs. And to make it worse, someone showed up at the door, asking me to leave. The man I came with last night. Do you think he'd come back? I asked Tanneman, my heart racing in my chest. It was his idea. He said he doesn't want to see you anywhere near this property, please. Leave this instant, the man said and left. And just like that, my heart was shattered all over. But surprisingly, it hurt more than when I had been rejected by Roderick. I am sorry, ma'am, but I am here to pick someone. I can't give you a free ride, if that is what you are asking. I struggled to hold back my laughter as I listened to Rufus. One of my father's oldest guards say, his eyes darting stained my shoulder, looking out for the person he had been assigned topic from the airport. I know, you have been sent to pick Lyric Harper, right? It is me, Rufus. His eyes narrowed with suspicion. You still haven't told me how you know my name, and how can you be Lyric? It is not possible. He shook his head. Lyric is ugly? I finished for him, a broad smile on my face. He frowned as he shook his head. Back then, Rufus was the only previous Porta, never been able to call me ugly. He was among the very few that had cared about my feelings, and even now, to a stranger, he still couldn't call me Cly. I laughed. Well, would it help if I reminded you that your favorite soup is butternut squash and you and little Lyric used to play chutes and ladders? Recognition beamed in his eyes. His jaw dropped in astonishment. Rufus, have mercy. Lyric, it is really you. He opened his arms, and I didn't hesitate to fall in for a warm hug. Back then, Rufus and I barely had time together, but he always made the few times we met worth it. He was the closest thing I had to a parent. How is this possible? He inquired after asking how I was. Your face, my goodness. You look gorgeous. You've only been gone for 5 years and... I can't believe this. It is a long story, Rufus, but for now, let's just say fate's decided to smile on me. Oh, Lyric, you do not know how happy I am to see you. I am sure your father must be delighted seeing you are not unbeautiful anymore. I langed at his attempt not to use the word ugly on me well. As for my father, I rolled my eyes in my head. I felt a little sad that I was forced to return here after 5 years because of him. My life was perfect in Draconis. Here, I'll take this to the car, Rufus said, taking my luggage. You do that and I'll meet you in the car. I need to pick up an extra lug. Don't worry, I'll be quick. I turned around and had barely taken 3 separate Rufus called my attention. You dropped something. Looking at the floor, I found the scanned image. My heart jumped into my throat as I quickly crouched to retrieve it. Rufus watched with me with surprise. Obviously, he had seen the ex-Rav, and would be wondering why the hell something of that nature had been in my back pocket. Oh, Lyric, you couldn't be a little careful. It is not mine. I cleared my throat, hoping my lie was plausible. I mean, who carried X-ray photos of fetuses in their back pocket? Tucking it back into the pocket, I hurried away. I had my hands crossed over my chest as I waited at the Collect G Center. My extra luggage would be brought to me at any moment. As I waited idly, disturbing thoughts ran through my mind. Fathy wanted me home for 2 reasons. The first was to completely cut ties with Roderick in our world. When 2 wolves were getting mated, they tied a rilbin as sign of their union and had it stored in a temple. So when they wanted to part ways, there were 2 steps involved. First, thieved have to denounce themselves as mates with the words of their mouths. And secondly, cut the ribbon together. After Roderick denounced me as his mate, we didn't get the chance to see each other again. Circumstances happened that pulled me away. But now, H was desperate to finish the final steps. Apparently, he'd chosen a new mate but couldn't accept her when he was still partially bound to me. Well, I'd been looking forward to the day when I get to end thing with the asshole. He was my past, and the stupid ribbon was the final thing holding us together. Excuse me, miss, I'd like a moment of your time, please, Summaries said behind me. I turned to see a well-built man in a black suit and dark shades over his ES. I didn't need anyone to tell me he was a guard. Can I help you? I furrowed my brows kind of. The alpha over there demands an audience with you. I looked to where he pointed. A minibar. But couldn't see the mar he was referring to. His face was shielded by a counter. I fought the urge to roll my eyes. These days, it was tiring. It was obvious there would never be a day where I'd step out without garnering attention from the opposite gender. I am in a hurry. Tell him I am sorry. I responded, the guard's jaw tightened. You can't ignore him. I read the unspoken words from his tone. He is a powerful alpha. You can't simply ignore his request, but I really wasn't interested in meeting anyone. I am sorry. I really am. I looked away. It was disrespectful to ignore an alpha's call. In a V world where ranks mattered, he could be one of the powerful ones and could punish me severely. But I really wasn't in the mood to talk to anyone. It is Alpha Roderick of Nightshade, the guard added, as if to entice me, but he had no idea. He had just reopened old wounds. My eyes moved to him, then quickly flicked to the bar where the man was seated. Roderick, as in my ex-mate Roderick. The one I was here to end things with. No way. My chest tightened with pain, and it was all I could do to keep my emotions intact. More reason not to see him, I mumbled, turning away. Did you say something? I said, I am not seeing him. I gritted the words. My nails digging into my palms, the guard gave me a disapproving stare before walking away. Andy released shaky breath. Now, where the hell was my luggage? I met one of the workers and demanded an update, and he assured me it'd be here any minute. Unfortunately, they were not fast enough as shortly. I saw Roderick approaching me. Roderick Fletcher, the one man I'd hoped would love me but never did. The mind was a bitch. I thought I was over Roderick's betrayal and wouldn't feel a thing when I met him. But watching him as he approached me, looking like he was the one in charge, made my eyes rim with tears. I sniffled and looked away, forcing the tears back in. So, I had to come over to speak to you myself. He leaned against counter beside me. How daring. My throat was tight, Unable to find any words, I feared there would be a crack in my voice if I managed to speak. 3 guards hovered beside him, their eyes darting around. Roderick looked sophisticated, like he'd obviously been having a good life. What was he even doing here? Was he picking someone? What is the name? He tilted his head as he asked. I said nothing. Won't even look at him. Hello. I don't feel like disclosing my name to strangers, I finally managed. My voice was tight. His eyes beamed with amusement. And here was a man who never smiled at me when we were together for 1 year. Let's just say I am overly excited today, he sighed. I am here, waiting for a certain bitch to arrive. When I gave him a puzzled look, he added, ex-mate. We are through with the first step, and just have the tiny little step to go. I'd finally be free of her. I scoffed. He was unbelievable. I'd have done this sooner, you know. But the horrid girl has been missing for years. Stressed us the hell out to find her. He spoke with raw disdain. What makes you call her horrid? I found myself asking before I could stop. He chuckled. Trust me, honey, she is a monster. If you see her, you'd have the same opinion. She is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Something hot exploded in my chest. It was all I could do not to eat my emotions rush out. This was not the right place. But Roderick was the true monster. He had no idea he was standing before the very woman he despised. What would proud he do if he gets to know? It made sense why he was waiting at the airport. He clearly wanted to drag me to the temple to cut the ribbon. Well, I wouldn't let him humiliate me in public. Not again, fortunately. My luggage finally arrived. Sorry for the delay, ma'am, the young man said as he rolled me, not looking at Roderick. I made to leave. That must have surprised him. I'd love to speak to you some other time. Your contact, if you don't mind. For a moment, I stood with my back to him, contemplating my words. I turned around when I found the most polite one I could give. Even if I have to give up my number to save myself from you, I wouldn't do it, Alpha. When my words sank in, surprise danced in her eyes, followed by a hint of hurt. Something blossomed in my chest. It was pride. So, I rolled my luggage away, leaving him standing there in shock. Rufus and I arrived home to the party. It was my stepmother's birthday party. Not that I had any intention of attending. May the moon forbid, it's just arrived at a coincidentally perfect time. I wasn't dressed for the party, had my simple jeans and shirt on with my hair in a ponytail yet. When I entered the hall, heads turned in my direction. I felt awkward for a moment. The whole attention thing was still new to me. I never knew I could receive so much compliments until I was free of my sokar. Now, people could hardly stare at me without telling me how beautiful I was. My stepsister, Nora, walked up to me with a smile. Hi, you are a little late for the party. What is your name? Typical Nora. From young, she has always wanted to be friends with the hot girls. She despised me so much as I brought a stain to her name. A scarred lady being her sister. 5 years ago, she had slammed the door in face, not letting mine despite my pleas. Now, she was being all nice. I am not here for the party, I answered her coldly, and looked away, scouring around for my father. I found him in a corner with my stepmother and some guests. He was the reason I was here. I needed to know what was so urgent aside from cutting ties with Roderick. He had his eyes on me, staring suspiciously. I went toward him. Hey, who are you? Nora came after me, sounding a little hurt. But I ignored her until I reached father. Me father was a well-known alpha, hence the party filled with dignitaries. Did well to bow my head to them as I stood before father. Who are you? My stepmother asked. I met her gaze with a smirk. Am I that different that you can't recognize me? I looked to father. What about you, father? Am I too different? Audible gasps rippled around me. Nora's hand went over her mouth. It is not possible, she muttered, shaking her head. Lyric. Father's eyes were filled with shock and recognition. Who is this impersonator? My stepmother snapped. Do you think we lack knowledge of what Lyric looks like? You think we'd fall for this scam? I focused my gaze on Dad. I am only here. 'Cause you said there was something important you needed to talk to me about. If you don't mind, I'd like for us to have that conversation now." Father took me to his study, leaving numerous shocked persons behind who couldn't utter a word. I wouldn't deny how good it felt to know I was the reason they were speechless. They couldn't call me ugly, as a matter of fact. I'd never be called ugly by anyone, ever again. "What happened to you, Lyric? Your scar was impossible to get rid of," Fathia asked. "I don't wish to discuss it now, or the horrible things that happened within 5 years. I was still trying to run from them. Just tell me why you needed me here." "Yes, that." His countenance soured. "You have no idea how happy I was when I found you after searching for years. You just vanished." He sighed. "We have a problem, Lyric. Our pack is in a deep mess with Darkspire. I made some mistake and lost a lot of money, a whole lot, making me indebted to Darkspire. Okay, I did not like where this was headed. Darkspire was a generational wolf pack, known to produce only the strongest alphas. The alphas that always ranked first in the hierarchy system. They were avoided as much as possible as they were known to be vicious. Us one did not get tangled with them for any reason. If word of this gets out, we'd be doomed. We'd go down the ranks, and coming from a pack that was used to being at the top. Believe me, it is not a good thing for us, but they're willing to let it go." I furrowed my brows. It didn't make any sense. I sensed a huge but they need a Luna from this family, for just a year. I stared at my father, Alpha Harlan Harper, in disbelief. The study was dimly lit, with heavy oak shelves lined with ancient tomes on werewolf lore and pack politics. The air smelled of old leather and faint cigar smoke, a scent that always reminded me of my childhood. Back when I was still his little girl, before the scar, before everything went to hell. "A Luna, for a year," I echoed, my voice sharper than I intended. "What does that even mean? You are selling me off like some kind of commodity to settle your debts." Harlan's face hardened, his graying beard twitching as he leaned back in his massive leather chair. He looked older than I remembered, lines etched deeper around his eyes from years of pack leadership. "It is not like that, Lyric. Darkspire's Alpha is particular. He is the most powerful wolf in our world, and he is unmarried. They need an alliance, a show of unity. 1 year as his Luna, and the debt vanishes. Our pack stays afloat." I crossed my arms, my nails digging into my skin to keep from exploding. "And why me? Why not Nora? She is your precious stepdaughter, always the golden child. She'd jump at the chance to marry into power." He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Nora's already promised to another pack for a different alliance. You are the only one left. Besides..." He hesitated, his eyes flicking over my face, now flawless and beautiful. "You've changed. You are not you anymore. This could be good for you, a fresh start." A fresh start? I wanted to laugh, but it came out as a bitter scoff. 5 years ago, he'd barely looked at me, ashamed of the ugly daughter who embarrassed the family. Now, because fate, or whatever miracle had healed my scar, had made me presentable, I was suddenly valuable. "You mean I am finally pretty enough to pawn off?" "Great, thanks, Dad. Lyric, please." His voice softened, almost pleading. "I know I haven't been the best father. After your mother left, things got complicated, but this is for the pack, our survival." I turned away, staring out the window at the party lights twinkling in the garden below. Guests laughed and mingled, oblivious to the storm brewing in here. My mind raced back to that night 5 years ago. The stranger in the mask, his silver eyes, the way he'd called me beautiful. He'd vanished, leaving me broken and alone. But somehow, in the months that followed, my scar had faded. Doctors couldn't explain it. Some whispered it was a curse lifted, or maybe a blessing from the moon goddess. I'd rebuilt my life in Draconis, far from here, working as a healer in a small clinic, finding peace in anonymity. And now this. "Fine," I said finally, my voice steady despite the knot in my stomach. "But only because I want that ribbon cut with Roderick. After that, I'll do your little deal. 1 year, and then I am free. No strings." Harlan nodded, relief washing over his face. Thank you, Lyric. The Alpha from Darkspire is already on his way. He'll be here tomorrow for the negotiations. Tomorrow, my heart skipped. No time to prepare, no escape. I left the study without another word, the party noise swallowing me as I slipped through the crowd. Nora caught my eye, her expression a mix of envy and confusion, but I ignored her. I needed air, space to process. Outside, under the full moon, I leaned against a tree, touching the spot where my scar used to be. Why me? I whispered to the night. Little did I know. The answer was coming sooner than I thought, and it would shatter everything I believed. The next morning, the pack house buzzed with tension. Servants scurried about, polishing silver and arranging fresh flowers, as if a royal visit was imminent. My stepmother, Elena, fussed over the breakfast table, her sharp eyes darting to me every few seconds. You look adequate, she said, her tone laced with reluctant approval. Just don't embarrass us. I rolled my eyes, picking at my eggs. Wouldn't dream of it, Elena. Nora sat across from me, twirling her fork. So, you are really doing this, marrying into Darkspire. God, their Alpha is legendary, cold as ice, they say. Never smiles, never mates. What is his name again, Kale? Something. Kale Voss, my father interjected, entering the room with Rufus trailing behind him. Rufus gave me a sympathetic nod, his earlier warmth a small comfort. Alpha Kale Voss. He has been leading Darkspire since he was 20, undefeated in every challenge, but he is reclusive. This arrangement is unusual for him too. Unusual. That word hung in the air like a threat. I pushed my plate away, appetite gone. And what exactly does being his Luna entail, parading around at meetings, bearing his heirs? Harlan cleared his throat. It is temporary, a political union. No heirs required. Just support him publicly. Before I could press further, a knock echoed through the hall. The doors swung open, and in walked an entourage of guards, all towering wolves with dark uniforms, emblazoned with the Darkspire crest, a snarling wolf under a blood moon. At their center was him, Alpha Kale Voss. My breath caught. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with jet-black hair that fell just above his piercing silver eyes. Those eyes, I knew them, from that night behind the mask, the stranger who'd promised me the world and then vanished like smoke. He scanned the room, his expression impassive, until his gaze landed on me. For a split second, something flickered, recognition, shock, but it vanished as quickly as it came, replaced by cold indifference. Alpha Harlan, he said, his voice deep and commanding, the same soothing timbre that had haunted my dreams. I trust the arrangements are in order. Harlan stood, bowing slightly. Yes, Alpha Voss. This is my daughter, Lyric Harper. She'll be honoring the agreement. Kale's eyes met mine again, and I felt a jolt, like electricity crackling through my veins. Did he remember? Or was I just another face to him? Pleasure, he said flatly, extending a hand. I took it, my skin tingling at the contact. We'll depart immediately after the ribbon ceremony with your ex-mate, Roderick. I'd almost forgotten. He was due any minute for the final severance. As if on cue, the doors opened again. Roderick strode in, flanked by his own guards, looking smug until he saw me. His face paled. You, Lyric? What the hell? I smiled sweetly, enjoying his confusion. Miss me, Roderick, he stammered, glancing at Kale. This is her, the one I am here to cut ties with. But she was ugly. I finished, echoing Rufus's words from yesterday. Times change. The ceremony was quick. A temple priest, the ancient ribbon from our mating, and a silver blade. Roderick slashed it with glee, but his eyes kept darting to me, a mix of regret and desire. You look different, he muttered, as we signed the dissolution papers. Save it, I snapped. We're done. Kale watched silently, his presence like a shadow. When it was over, he turned to me. Time to go, Luna. Luna, the word sent a shiver down my spine as we left. I caught Rufus's worried glance. Be careful, kid, he whispered. In the limo to Darkspire, Kale sat across from me, staring out the window. Silence stretched until I couldn't take it. Do I know you? I asked, testing the waters. He turned, his silver eyes locking on mine. Schuled you? My heart pounded, he remembered. I could see it, but why pretend? Fine, said, leaning back. Play your games. But remember, this is just a year. A ghost of a smile tugged at his lips. A year can change everything, princess. Princess. The nickname from that night, my world tilted. This wasn't just a bargain. It was a reunion with the man who'd broken me. And now, I was bound to him. Darkspire's territory loomed like a fortress from ancient tales. Towering stone walls wrapped in mist, forests thick with secrets, and a central manor that screamed power. As the limo pulled up, wolves patrolled the grounds, their eyes glowing in the twilight. I felt like a lamb entering the lion's den. Kyle led me inside without a word, his hand brushing my lower back, a touch that sent unwanted sparks through me. The manor was opulent yet cold, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, walls adorned with trophies from battles won. Servants bowed as we passed, whispering Luna like a prayer. Your rooms, Kale said, opening double doors to a suite, larger than my old apartment in Draconis. It had a 4-poster bed, a balcony overlooking the woods, and a closet filled with designer gowns. You'll want for nothing. Except freedom, I muttered, dropping my bag. He paused at the door. This isn't a prison, Lyric, it is an alliance. Then why the charade? You act like we've never met. His jaw tightened. Because some things are better left in the past. I stepped closer, anger bubbling. You left me that morning, no note, no goodbye, just a servant kicking me out. And now you are my husband for a year. What game are you playing, Kale? He met my gaze, emotions warring in his silver eyes. Regret, desire, something darker. That night, it was a mistake. I don't do attachments. But you made me feel things I shouldn't. Like what? Human. I shot back. He grabbed my arm gently, pulling me close. Like vulnerable. I can't climax with anyone, Lyric. It is a curse from my lineage. But with you, I did. It scared me, so I ran. My breath hitched. The confession hung between us, raw and exposed. For a moment, I saw the man behind the alpha, the one who'd caressed my scar and called me beautiful. Then why agree to this? I whispered. Because when your father offered, I saw your name and I couldn't say no. He released me, stepping back. But this is business. Don't expect more. He left, the door clicking shut like a finality. I sank onto the bed, tears pricking my eyes. Emotional conflict tore at me. Hatred for his abandonment, lingering attraction from that night, and now this forced proximity. How could I survive a year? That night, at a welcome banquet, the reversal hit. Kale introduced me as his Luna, his arm around my waist possessive. Packs from allied territories toasted us, but one guest, a stunning she, wolf named Isolde, eyed me with venom. Congratulations, Alpha, she purred, sidling up to Kale, though I thought you'd choose someone permanent. Kale's grip tightened. Isolde is an old ally, he explained later. Old flame? I asked, jealousy flaring unexpectedly. He smirked. Jealous, princess. No, I lied. But as Isolde whispered in his ear, laughing, doubt crept in. Was this alliance just a cover for his real intentions? And why did it hurt so much? The first week in Darkspire blurred into a routine of public appearances and private tension. By day, I played the perfect Luna, attending pack meetings, smiling at dignitaries, even helping in the healer's den with my skills from Draconis. The wolves here were wary at first, but my knowledge of herbs and wounds won them over. You are not what we expected. One beta Marcus told me during a training session. He was Kale's right hand, loyal and gruff. What did you expect, a trophy wife? I teased, bandaging a sparring injury. He chuckled. Something like that. Alpha's never brought anyone home before. By night, though, the manor felt like a cage. Kale and I shared meals in silence, his eyes often lingering on me with unspoken questions. I'd catch him watching from afar during runs in the woods, his wolf form sleek and black, powerful one evening. After a grueling council meeting where rival packs probed our union, I found him in the library poring over maps. "Trouble?" I asked, sinking into a chair opposite him. He glanced up, tiredness etching his features. "Always, border skirmishes with Nightshade, your ex's pack." "Roderick again, he is ambitious, probably testing boundaries." Kale nodded. "He has climbed ranks fast, but with you here," he trailed off. "With me here? What? I am leverage. You are more than that." His voice softened. "That night at the bar, you were broken, I was too. My pack was in turmoil after my father's death. I needed escape." I leaned forward, and I was convenient. Number he reached across, his fingers brushing mine. "You were real, the first person who saw me, not the alpha." The touch ignited memories, the hotel room, his gentle hands, the shock of his climax. I pulled away. Then why leave? Fear of weakness. Alphas can't afford it. We talked late into the night, barriers cracking. He shared stories of his curse, how it isolated him, made relationships impossible. I confessed my years in Draconis, healing others while mending myself. As dawn broke, he stood, "Good night, Lyric." But as he left, I called, "Kale, thank you for seeing me that night." He paused, smiling faintly. "Always, princess." For the first time, hope flickered. Maybe this year could heal us both. Hope was short-lived. 2 days later, during a full moon hunt, emotional conflict erupted. Kale and I ran together as wolves, my form silver, furred, his dominating the pack. The thrill of the chase bonded us, and when we shifted back, clothes torn, laughter shared, he pulled me into a kiss under the stars. It was fire, passionate, desperate. "I can't fight this," he murmured against my lips. "Me neither," I admitted, melting into him. But the next morning, reversal struck like a dagger. Isolde had cornered me in the gardens. "You think you are special? He uses women, Lyric, that curse. It is an excuse. He has bedded half the she-wolves in allied packs, never committing." "Liar," I spat, but doubt seeded. She smirked, showing a locket with Kale's photo. "We were engaged once. He left me too." Confronting Kale that night, rage boiled. "Is it true about Isolde?" He sighed. "Ancient history before the curse worsened." "But you lied, said you don't do attachments." "I don't, not anymore." His eyes pleaded. "You are different. Am I, or just temporary?" Tears fell. 1 year, remember. He reached for me, but I backed away. "Lyric, please. Number, this was a mistake." I stormed out, heart shattering anew. Was he the liar I'd always feared? And worse, whispers spread. Roderick plotting an attack, using my past against us. The alliance teetered, and so did my trust. In the aftermath, I threw myself into pack duties, avoiding Kale. Marcus became my confidant, training me in combat to channel my anger. "Alpha's a good man," he said during a spar, "but cursed. It messes with his head." "What curse exactly?" I pressed, dodging a punch. "Family legend. Voss alphas can't bond fully without a true mate. Climax is tied to the soul bond. He thought it impossible until you." Me, the puzzle clicked. That night, he'd finished because we were mates. I sought Kale in his chambers that evening. He looked haggard, papers strewn about. "Is it true?" I demanded. "Am I your true mate?" He froze. "How? Marcus, why hide it?" "Because confirming it means danger. Rivals would target you, and after leaving you, I didn't deserve it." We talked for hours. Vulnerabilities laid bare. He admitted fearing rejection if I knew. I shared my own scars, emotional ones from abandonment. By midnight, forgiveness bloomed. "Let's try," I whispered. He kissed me softly, for real this time. As we made love, the bond sealed, intense, complete. For the first time, we were one. Our newfound closeness brought joy. Stolen moments, shared runs, pack respect growing. But emotional conflict loomed when Roderick sent a messenger. "Return what is mine, or war." "What is his?" I asked Kale. He claims the ribbon wasn't fully severed. Technicality." Fury rose. "He is delusional." During negotiations. Reversal hit. Isolde betrayed us, allying with Roderick, revealing Kale's curse to weaken him. "He is impotent in bonds," she mocked in a leaked letter. Kyle raged, isolating himself. "They'll see me as weak." I confronted him. "You are not. We're stronger together." But doubt crept. What if the bond fails? What if I can't protect you? Tears flowed. "Then we fight, but don't push me away." He pulled me close. Never again. Yet, war brewed. Roderick's forces amassed. Our year was half over, but the real battle began. The days leading up to the inevitable clash with Roderick's forces were a whirlwind of steel and strategy. Darkspire's warriors drilled relentlessly under the gray skies, their howls echoing through the misty forests as they prepared for war. I threw myself into the fray, my hands calloused from wielding weapons and mixing poultices in the healer's den. My time in Draconis had honed my skills, but now, with the bond between Kale and me pulsing like a living thing, I felt invincible. Or at least, that is what I told myself to mask the fear gnawing at my insides. Kale and I had grown inseparable, our stolen moments a balm against the storm. One evening, as we pored over maps in the war room, the candlelight flickering across his sharp features, he paused, his silver eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made my breath hitch. "That X-ray you dropped at the airport," he said softly, his voice laced with a vulnerability I'd rarely heard. "Rufus mentioned it in passing. Was it ours?" I froze, my heart slamming against my ribs, the secret I'd guarded like a fragile flame. The twins conceived that fateful night 5 years ago, hidden away in Draconis under the care of trusted friends. I'd raised them in secrecy, fearing the world that had already broken me once. But now, with Kale's gaze pleading for truth, the walls I'd built crumbled. "Yes," I whispered, tears welling as I met his eyes. "Our sons. I named them Aiden and Elias. They're 4 now, with your silver eyes and my stubborn streak." Kale's face crumpled, a mix of joy and regret washing over him. He pulled me into his arms, his embrace fierce yet tender. "Why didn't you tell me sooner? Gods, Lyric, I left you. I abandoned you both." "I was scared," I admitted, my voice muffled against his chest. "You vanished that morning, like I was nothing. How could I risk bringing them into this world of alphas and betrayals? But they're yours, Kale, our miracle from that night." He cupped my face, his thumbs brushing away my tears. "I am sorry for everything. Let me be their father, please." We sent for them that very night, a covert escort slipping through the shadows to bring my boys home. When they arrived, wide-eyed and clinging to my skirts, Kale knelt before them, his powerful frame humbled. "I am your dad," he said, his voice cracking. "And I promise I'll never leave you again." Aiden tilted his head, studying Kale with innocent curiosity. "Like in the stories Mama tells, the strong wolf who fights monsters?" Kale chuckled, though his eyes shimmered, "Exactly like that, and you are my little warriors." The pack welcomed them as heirs, their arrival a spark of hope amid the gathering darkness. But joy was fleeting. Whispers of Roderick's advancing army reached us, tens of thousands strong, fueled by his ambition and Isolde's treacherous alliance. She'd leaked Kale's curse to the world, painting him as weak, impotent in more ways than one. It stung, but we channeled the rage into preparation. The battle erupted at dawn, the horizon bleeding red as Roderick's forces crashed against our lines. The air filled with snarls and clashes of claws, the ground churning to mud under paws and boots. Kale and I fought side by side, our bond amplifying every strike. My silver wolf form darting through the fray, healing the wounded even as I tore into enemies. But amid the chaos, betrayal struck like a venomous fang. Isolde's warriors ambushed me, dragging me from the battlefield into a shadowed tent. She stood there, her beauty twisted into a sneer, a silver chain glinting around her neck. "You," she hissed, circling me like prey. The scarred reject who somehow stole what was mine. I strained against my bonds, fury boiling. "What do you want?" I sold. "Kale's never been yours." She laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "Oh, but he was. Before you ruined everything. And that scar of yours, the one that made you so ugly. I did that. As a child, I saw your potential, your power lurking beneath that pretty little face. Jealousy is a powerful motivator. I hired the abductors, branded you with silver to keep you weak. Hidden. You were never meant to rise." The revelation hit like a thunderbolt, unlocking fragmented memories of that horrific night. The blindfold, the searing pain, tears of rage streamed down my face. "Why? What did I ever do to you? You existed," she spat. "A threat to my plans. And now Kale will trade everything for you. His pack, his life, he'll break." Emotional turmoil raged within me, betrayal from the past colliding with the present horror. But her words ignited something primal. With a surge of strength from our bond, I shifted, snapping the chains and lunging at her. Claws raked flesh. She howled in pain as I escaped into the melee, bloodied but unbroken. I found Kale amidst the carnage, his black wolf form towering, eyes wild with worry. "Lyric," he roared, shifting back to pull me close. "I thought I'd lost you." I sold as she caused my scar. I gasped, clinging to him. All these years, his face darkened with fury. "She'll pay, but first we end this." Together, we rallied the pack, turning the tide. Roderick's lines faltered under our unified assault, his smug ambition crumbling as warriors fell around him. The battlefield reeked of blood and smoke, the cries of the wounded piercing the air like shattered glass. Roderick stood at the center of the fray, his once proud form battered, eyes blazing with defiance as Kale advanced on him. "You think you've won?" Roderick snarled, circling with a limp. "That reject was mine first. You stole her, Voss. Like you steal everything." Kale's growl rumbled like thunder. "She was never yours to claim, and now you'll answer for every hurt you've inflicted." They clashed in a blur of fangs and fury, alpha against alpha. I watched from the sidelines, heart in my throat, tending to the fallen while our bond fed Kale strength. But as Roderick landed a vicious blow, silver-tipped claws raking Kale's side, panic surged through me. "Kale," I screamed, rushing forward. He staggered but fought on, pinning Roderick with a final, crushing strike. The enemy alpha crumpled, defeated, his forces surrendering in waves. Victory was ours, but at a cost. Kale collapsed as the adrenaline faded, his wound festering unnaturally. The curse flared, his body convulsing, silver eyes dimming. "Lyric, it burns," he gasped, clutching his side. I knelt beside him, tears blurring my vision as healers swarmed. "No, stay with me. The boys need you, we need you." His hand found mine, weak but insistent. "I love you, more than any curse or crown. If this is the end, it is not." I interrupted, my voice breaking, emotional agony twisted like a knife. After all we'd overcome, to lose him now. I poured my energy into him, drawing on our bond, the same magic that had healed my scar years ago. "Fight, Kale, for us." Horrors blurred in the healer's den, the pack holding vigil outside. Marcus paced, muttering prayers, while the twins clung to my skirts, their small faces etched with fear. "Is Daddy okay?" Elias whispered, silver eyes wide. I hugged them tight, forcing a smile. "He will be. He is the strongest wolf there is." As night fell, Kale stirred, his color returning. He opened his eyes, meeting mine with a weary smile. "You saved me, princess." Relief flooded me, sobs escaping as I kissed him. We saved each other. With peace restored, Darkspire flourished. Roderick's pack dissolved into alliances. Isolde banished to exile, her treacheries exposed. Our year of obligation ended, but as we stood before the pack under the full moon for our true mating ceremony, there was no question of parting. The priest bound our wrists with a new ribbon, woven with silver threads. "Do you, Kael Voss, take Lyric as your eternal mate?" "I do," he said, his voice strong, eyes shining. "From that night in the bar to forever, you are my light, my strength. And you, Lyric Harper?" "I do," I replied, heart swelling. "Through scars and storms, you are my home." The pack howled in celebration as we kissed, the bond sealing eternally. The twins scampered around us, giggling symbols of our future. "Ladder under the stars," Kael whispered. "From the rise of the ugly Luna to my queen, we've come full circle." I smiled, leaning into him. "And the best is yet to come."